like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time. It's clear to see.
Hey guys, this video is going to show you how to release your fascia with ball rolling or props. So I've got a little basket of balls here. So as you've seen, I have some of the larger spiky massage balls. I've got the smaller, or actually these are the larger cork balls, and then there's actually a smaller cork ball as well. I've got the smaller spiky balls, and then I also have the squash ball. So you don't need all of these, but you'll want to find what works best for you as you're releasing for the different techniques that we're going to use. So the first one we'll do is on the wall. And so I like to use a bigger spiky ball. I find it grips better and it's a little bit more easy to maneuver on the wall. So I'm going to grab a couple of the bigger spiky balls. And then you can find a space on the wall where you can put both balls either just alongside the spine. So maybe starting on the low back, and then you're going to move up and down so that these balls massage alongside the spine. You can do the upper back as well, so like the shoulders. You want to make sure that you're putting it into an area that feels kind of fleshy. And then once you have them there, you can kind of lean into them, moving in circles or up and down. These ones are a little squeaky on my wall. And sometimes it's nicer just to do one at a time. It's a little easier to kind of maneuver. And breathing as you release the fascia of your back, using the ball on the wall. So now I'm just going to do the lower hips. You can move back and forth. So go ahead and explore that on your own. If the wall version is something that works for you, then bring it into your practice. The next version I'm going to show you is some foot rinsing, is what we call it. So I'm going to use the smaller squash ball and put it on the mat. And then I'm going to take the middle of my toe mounds, my heels on the ground, and then I'm going to take my weight and press it into the ball. So I'm kind of feeling the fascia release through those toe mounds. You can do it a few times, moving it towards the pinky toe mounds, and then towards the big toe mounds. Until you feel like you've released what you're looking to let go of today. And once you've rinsed it that way, you can then even begin the rolling. So rolling from each toe mound to the heel. Remembering to use your knowledge in support of your standing leg, your breath. And then the other way we're going to rinse that foot is to press the ball into the heel. And so this you might remember from bone density knowledge, that when we press into the heel, there's a little spot there that stimulates the production of osteoblasts, which are for strong bones and bone health. So you can inhale, release the ball, lifting the heel up, and then exhale as you press into your leg, pressing into that ball. a few times. And then letting it go, moving to the other side. And so we're rinsing the toe mounds first, and remembering to stay connected to breath. You might even move down a little bit outside of the toe mounds if that's serving you, if that's feeling good. And then you could roll as you're ready. And then moving into the osteoblast production for bone density. So the middle of the heel, inhale, exhale to press down. Again, you can use a different kind of ball for this, if that serves you better. And then letting it go as you're ready. Good, so that was the foot rinsing with the squash ball. The next one we are going to look at is the calf muscle. And so I'm going to come into a seat, and I'm going to use my slow-mo ball or my Pilates stability ball to help me stay a little bit more supported as I'm seated. So I'm just putting it into my kind of low tailbone area, and that gives me a little bit of extra support as I explore here. So you can extend your legs out long, and then you can take your fingers, there's the Achilles tendon that comes up here, and you can kind of feel it from your Achilles heel moving up the leg, and then about halfway up the leg you have your gastrocnemius muscles. So that's two calf muscles here. You have your lateral and then your median. So your inside and your outside portions. And then you can kind of feel how they split a little bit. So if you press your finger into the middle of them at the end of the Achilles tendon, you can kind of feel where they start to split. So if you can find that spot and then put your squash ball on it, and then you can roll. I'm just going to move this out of the way now. You can roll back and forth in that split. Breathing deeply. So this can be releasing, this could be triggering for some. So again, remembering to practice your principles here, that if it's too much, then let it go. When you feel ready, you can move to the other side. So taking your fingers to move up the Achilles tendon here and find the fascia of the Achilles where it connects to your calf. And then there's this point in about just below the midway of the calf where you can feel the kind of more fleshy calf muscles, and they can split apart slightly. Placing your ball there. So I'm just grounding into my palms. I've got a nice Hasta Bandha. Full body awareness as you're ball rolling as well. You might find a spot that feels good just to kind of let it sit and breathe into it. And we're rocking back and forth. There's just so many different ways that you can bring in your own creativity to help release your fascia. Spend as much time as you like with your calf muscles. I'm going to move on to the arms and the chest. And so you can take your ball and roll it into the flesh of the arm, the lower arm, the wrists. You can actually even start in the hands. And breathing. Slowing it down is important, and that can be what really lets the fascia let go, allows it to let go. Often when we're speeding through it, the fascia might even tighten a little bit because it might not be fully ready to relax or feel that it has time to relax. So see what happens if you really slow it down. You can move into your arms as you're ready. Maybe the backs of the hands first, the wrists, and shoulders and chest. And so I'm going to just kind of whiz through this a little bit today. And you can spend lots of time. Once you know what to do, you can pause the video and just really slow it down with your breath and releasing. And you can take the ball into the jaw, and actually there's a point there just where the jaw kind of hinges. You can feel a little kind of tight muscle there that you can press the ball into and release the jaw. And sometimes you don't even need any motion. You can just put a little pressure on with breath. It's kind of more of a pin idea of the pin and twist. And with your breath, just let that ball slowly release the fascia. Don't forget your chest. And so you can kind of sweep from the heart up towards the clavicle or the collarbone. Again, slowing it down, maybe pinning in certain areas. Another way to do the arms is to do it on the floor. So if you're comfortable to kind of roll over onto one side, and then you can put the ball onto the floor and then just roll your arm up and down the ball. And that gives you a little more leverage with gravity. So sometimes it can be nicer, but for those of you that find it quite uncomfortable to kind of sprawl in this position, then you might just stay seated. So that is ball rolling with the squash ball, and you can use it, be creative. You can use it anywhere that you're finding it's feeling supportive. I'm going to show you now with the Pilates or stability ball how you can roll out the pelvis. And so I've got a couple different sizes here. So you can choose, if you've got the balls at home, whether you want to blow it up a little bit more or release some of the air out of it. And then you're going to sit on the ball, and then sending my legs out in front. You can just roll through the pelvic floor. You can bend your knees. So this can be very stimulating for the pelvic floor. So sometimes those muscles, we can't really connect to them so easily. And so we're relearning to connect the breath to the pelvic floor, the diaphragm. And so this ball rolling can help you kind of feel in there and feel what it would be like to connect to it. So I'm just doing circles, different directions. So again, I'm just going to come off, but you can play with that, and maybe blowing it up more might serve you better. That was a little bit deflated for me today, but at least you can see the idea of the exercise. And then finally, we're going to come onto our backs for the rest of the ball rolling. So I like to have a couple of the big ones and then a couple of the small spiky balls for this. And then I've got a block for my head and neck. So if we do the shoulders first, I'll take the smaller spiky balls. So I lay onto the block or the prop. So you can settle here for a moment, maybe finding your breath, letting your body kind of adjust to the floor, to the support of the earth. And then when you're ready, you can bring whatever size ball, whatever type of ball you like, and place it underneath into the fleshy part of the shoulder. And so you might notice just doing that simply is enough. You can breathe into it. Relaxing the rest of your body, softening and releasing with your breath. And you might move it around as you feel release start to happen or open up. You can explore one arm at a time or both at the same time. And so I'm going to send my arm up, just kind of shaking it out and noticing how that might bring in another level of release. If it's too much, then just let it go for now. You can move your arm around, finding different places that feel that you could spend some time breathing into. So essentially you're kind of giving yourself a massage here. Remember to soften your face and maybe turn up the corners of your mouth slightly, sending those messages to your nervous system that it's okay, that you can keep your healing and repair system turned on. And so maybe you play with circles in one direction and then the other. And use your pain principles here, especially if you're finding this quite intense, like I am in especially my right shoulder. exploring in a safe, comfortable, and pleasurable way that you can still breathe and you feel you're not going to regret anything. You might let your arm come overhead. Or out to the side. And then you can switch to the other side when you're ready, or you can try with both balls and see if that serves you at all. And if you're using both balls, and then just allowing your body to let go onto the prop. Using a nice diaphragmatic or radiant breath. You can explore with some tensegrity arms here. So maybe some owl wings, bringing your index finger and thumb together. Other three fingers are soft and aware as you float your arms out and then back in. Maybe flipping your palms to explore that way. Or full moon, so taking the range of motion of this internal and external rotation. Tracing the shape of a circle or a moon, and it can be small or large. Maybe you enjoy releasing more just on one ball at a time rather than both. And so this is all an exploration for you to spend some time with releasing, with hydrating your fascia, turning on your parasympathetic nervous system, and then exploring with breath and awareness. Remembering from our pain principles that you want to bring in new and novel movement when you practice. So each time, let it be different. Let it be a different expression. Again, you can pause the video or spend more time after the video with any that you really enjoyed. Now we're going to move into the hips. So I'm going to bring the bigger balls in, and I'll start with one again, and I'll bring my right ankle up over the left knee, and then I'll bring my ball underneath the fleshy part of my pelvis or my hips. And so you can just play here with stillness and breathing. You might rock back and forth gently. Moving the ball as you feel it fits or it serves you. If you feel like that's not serving you, you can explore leg up like we do in our back care series. You could bring a strap in here if that's more supportive for you. Wrapping it around the foot and then helping the leg rotate in circles, one direction and then the other. You can explore swinging gait, so letting the leg swing down towards the earth as a whole, from the pelvic or the hip socket, new and novel movements. So really, with tensegrity in mind and staying connected to your breath, you can explore in all sorts of different ways. Again, you can bring in both balls. So I like to do this one especially, you can do it in both fleshy sides of the hips, but I also like to bring both balls in a little bit closer to my sacrum. And I'll remove my head and neck prop here so that I can allow the balls to release the fascia, the connective tissues that go into my sacrum. I often have a lot of adhesions or tension there, so I'm just breathing into it. You can use pranayama, any of your exercises you've learned here. And I just felt a shift there that was very releasing. So I'm just sliding the balls slowly up my sacrum and then down my sacrum towards my tail or my coccyx. And then you can bring in movement as well if that's serving you. And then I'm going to move the balls out now and just use one on the other side to do the same kind of figure 4 shape on the other side that I had. And this side is feeling a little bit tighter for me, so I'm going to take it a little bit slower and let the fascia feel safe enough and relaxed enough to really open up and then get hydrated with breath and maybe small movement. And then if you choose, you can explore with the leg up. Or maybe even a kind of windshield wiper motion onto the ball. You could actually bring both balls into the outer hips for that one. And so that is ball rolling. And again, I want you to use these exercises in your own time. And so now that you've seen what to do, you can continue practicing them and explore for longer and in your own way. So thank you for joining me for this ball rolling and fascia release video.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.